Welcome back to the 888 Poker Weber Cup from the Barnsley Metrodome. O'Neill, again, he's really fishing with that line, and this could be to the benefit of Europe here.
I can't even see how many pins that is. Is that 5 he's taken on his first count? Again, it's sailed wide. He's got snagged up in the lane condition on the outside line. It's not coming back. Misses the headpin, as you say, right-hand side. Leaves the 1, 2, 8 and the 6 and the 10, but open frame. Dear, oh dear, what a terrible shot that was.
Europe back in it. And O'Neill clearly worried about that back end. If he goes on a tighter line, he feels it's going to just go straight across and past the headpin. So he's trying to give it enough width to be able to bring it back up the hill into the pocket. And Captain Chris Barnes doesn't look too chuffed after that one. That is very unusual, isn't it, for O'Neill?
Well, have one errant shot by all means, but 2 in a row like that, it's just, well, not unheard of, but certainly in a match of this calibre, you wouldn't expect that at all.
Beautiful stuff. Well, there's a couple of players up there that look very, very relaxed on the lane, and Dominic Barrett for Team Europe is one of them.
Yes,
Terrific
it's a
looking shot.
Great looking shot, Simon. Yeah, it gets it exactly into the right place and it curves up nicely. Right into the pocket, carries all 10 pins. 2 strikes for Dom Barrett of these 2 frames. And looks mighty happy.
Well, Dom and Stuart, great mates, so they're chatting away. Whereas the 2 Finnish players keeping it very serious. Now, Chris Barnes, one of the great students of the game. He'll have a few things in his mind at the moment because he's watched his players hit a couple of different marks on the lane and with varying success. Got to play his own game though. Got to play the lane as he feels he should be playing it.
There's a good shot here to recover from that last open frame of Bill O'Neill's, and he does exactly that. Strike for Team USA in frame number 8. They are 141 in the 7th with a strike up in the 8th. Team Europe are 116 in the 6th frame, working on a strike and a chance for the double. Stuart Williams looking for his 2nd strike.
No, and again, our second 7-10 split. That's horrible.
He's having a little chuckle, but it's in disbelief. Problem here is, Simon, these pins are brand new and they've got chisel squared bottoms. And if you don't hit them properly, they will stand up. Just look at that. The 7 and the 10 yet again. Hard and fast. Well, he gave it a shot, but it's not going to go. So it's an open frame for Team Europe as well.
Second open frame for the Blues. Second 7-10 split. The worst that you can have in the sport of 10-pin. Maximum's not encouraging, but with the way that Bill O'Neill has thrown the first 2, USA not home and dry yet.
So I'm looking back at last year when USA won this first Baker. They won it on a 255, 206 game. So it was a bit of a spanking for Team Europe, and it's kind of going that way again. It's not going to be quite as high on the scores, but Europe are struggling with 2 big open frames.
Fagan and Barnes bowling a similar line and a similar pace by the looks of it. Tommy Jones has been a little more aggressive, but all 3 players getting the same result, strike every time. And really, it's Bill O'Neill at the moment that there's just that slightly random element to what could happen to the Team USA score.
Well, that 2nd strike by Mike Fagan is a double for Team USA in frames 8 and 9. It extends their lead.
Palermaa, feet right in the centre of the lane, gets it right this time. And I just think with so much going on in his mind ahead of this opening game, Cass, that his first delivery was a reflection of that.
Yes, you're quite right, Simon. You can see the situation on the maximum scores. 204 for the Europeans, and that's if they strike out with 3 strikes in the 10th. Just 1 frame to go. He's already bowled 2 strikes in his previous 2 frames. This is the last frame, frame number 10. And he's working with 2 strikes.
This for Turkey then, for Tommy Jones. You can see him go after it a little more, and rather like O'Neill, just let that one get towards the outside of the oil a bit too early.
Well, gosh, he's left the 2 and the 10 pin. That ball has just hurried on. Didn't get right back into the pocket. It is a makeable spare. Now he has to hit that 2 pin, which is the left-hand pin, very, very lightly on the left-hand side, and try and bounce it across into the 10. It will go. It's about a 5-to-1 shot, and he really does need it, because that's really going to tighten the scores up.
Well, as TJ is prone to do, he's just beating himself up a little bit after that shot, but he's got to try and find this spare if he can. And has a go, but couldn't quite chip the pin across to the 10. And that's changed things quite dramatically in this match, and Europe must capitalise on it. What a time to miss for Tommy Jones.
Maximum score and final score for Team USA is 197 with an open frame there from Jonesy. Now it's 3 open frames. So that's 2 open frames for Team USA, and all they can do is sit and watch and hope that Mika can shoot 3 strikes here and take this game away.
Mika Koivuniemi been charged with the responsibility of finishing this off. Hasn't looked that comfortable on this lane at the moment. Again, he's wide. It's made it back, but left a ring in 10.
And that's the game over, I'm afraid. He needed 2 strikes and 4 pins to win by 1. And unfortunately, the 10 pin has stood up in the corner yet again. It's just a little bit on the wide side, isn't it? He's getting some reaction, but it's not flush in the pocket. The 6 pin goes right round the 10, and there it stands. And that, unfortunately, will be defeat in the Baker first opening game. So it's going to be 1 to the USA.
Well, it's not unusual for the USA to win a Baker, as we've already said. It's not Europe's favourite hunting ground, but Koivuniemi will be kicking himself because it was there. You know, the carrot was dangled by the American team. Europe couldn't walk through. And for the first time at Weber Cup 13, this Barnsley crowd, this fantastic Barnsley crowd, getting behind Team Europe, but unfortunately getting behind that last ball, the last ball of the opening match, and a defeat for Team Europe. It is Team USA that chalk up the first victory of Weber Cup 13, but my goodness me, that was a close run thing. A little bit of tension, I think, with both teams, but it's USA that get the point. Well, plenty still to go in Weber Cup 13 here at the Metrodome in Barnsley, but for the moment, USA have managed to get that first and very important point on the board. Tony Wrighton is with both captains down on the show lane.
Thanks very much indeed. Osku, a disappointing start for you. Quite a low-scoring game. Is it hard tonight to adapt to the lanes?
Not really. We actually were bowling pretty good. I was the only one who threw a bad shot, but that's what bowling is in a nutshell.
Yeah, Chris, an important point for you. How do you assess that opening game?
Well, I guess if you learn from your mistakes, we should be smarter now. So we made 3 pretty big errors in the middle of the game and managed to survive all of them, and they had some bad breaks. But we'll take the 1 point for sure.
You looked a little nervy there right at the end with Major Mika.
Well, you know Mika's going to throw a good shot. You know, his first one was close, the second one was closer and got a bad break, and we knew the last one he was going to throw it. It was going to be high flush, and to catch a ring 10 there was a good break for us, but more than a bit unfortunate.
Tell you what though, guys, long way to go. Thanks very much indeed for now. Osku and Chris, the team captains here at the Weber Cup. USA with their noses in front.
After the break, we'll take a look at how this famous historic rivalry has unfolded and relive the drama from the last 12 years of this prestigious Weber Cup.